Welcome to Rise to Realize podcast, an inner journey toward enlightenment. I'm Arda Ozdemir, an executive coach and spiritual mentor of 15 years and author of The Meaning of Life. Today, I want to explore a very important question with you that will change the way you view yourself and how you live your life going forward. The question is, where does your emotional suffering come from? The world we live in is ruled by the universal principle of cause and effect. Therefore, if there's an effect, like emotional suffering, there must be a cause. Exploring the source of your emotional suffering will expand your awareness and help you build a solid foundation for your inner journey in the months and years to come. This kind of deep knowledge acquired on oneself will eventually lead you toward self-realization and ultimately enlightenment. In the last episode, as you recall, we started exploring our ego structure, and we realized that our internal uneasiness and lack of fulfillment resulted from not living as our real self. Today, let's go a little deeper. As you move through your day, what kind of personalities do you play in your interactions? What specific roles do you take in your relationships? Who is the persona you act out as when you're dealing with difficult people or challenging situations? Well, did you know that the word persona comes from Latin and it means mask or character played by an actor? On stage, the character fits into the scripted drama. The actor can't just change the role whenever they want. They stay loyal to that character and behave accordingly. The mask only shows what is meant to be seen, and it hides the real person underneath. Guess what? We do exactly the same thing in our lives. We wear masks, personas, and carry them as if our lives depend on them. And in a way, at some point, they carried us through traumatic events and challenging life situations. So yes, our lives depended on them. After working with some more than 7,000 clients over the last 15 years, I've been shocked to discover something. A hard to accept fact that none of us are fully real. When we look at all these personas we take on in our lives, two main forces, or I should say characters, appear right in front of us. I call the first one the vulnerable self. This persona holds our insecurities, our early painful experiences, our unprocessed feelings, even our emotional wounds, the moments we felt not good enough, not recognized, ignored, unseen, abandoned, betrayed, or alone. The second character is called the conditioned self. This persona tries to hide those insecurities of the vulnerable self so that the outside world never sees these unprocessed feelings or negative self-images and beliefs about ourselves. So if the vulnerable self is like a younger, wounded sibling, the conditioned self is like the older brother who took the oath to protect his little brother at all costs. The conditioned self says, "Don't worry, I'll take care of this. I'll make sure no one sees how weak or scared you feel inside." Of course, he says that to the vulnerable self. So he wears a very thick mask. He pretends to be strong, nice, independent, in control, works hard, achieves success, chases accomplishments, and strives to be perfect. In other words, he does everything in his power so that nobody notices the little brother's insecurities, those unprocessed feelings in his psyche. Of course, you can guess these two personas clash all the time. They create a never-ending internal conflict, just like two siblings fighting. This conflict is natural though, because they have two opposing goals. The vulnerable self, feeling unsafe, wants to hide from everything and everyone. The conditioned self, feeling the push, wants to prove to the world that he is everything. When you have these two personas pulling you in completely different directions, telling you how you think, how to feel, and how to behave, you often find yourself caught in the middle, completely lost in a tug of war between these two brothers, constantly fighting in the battlefields of your subconscious. Well, this conflict is the very source of your emotional suffering. Yes, you feel stuck and most of the time lost and confused because these two subconscious personas are competing against each other to control your life. Over time, this confusing and conflicting dynamic leads to stress, anxiety, depression, addictions, and all kinds of mental and emotional issues. You are not alone in this. Believe me, everyone is subject to this inner conflict. The good news is, where you are today is not where you have to be in the future. Once you begin to decipher the puzzle of these two opposing personas, you can step out of the exhausting dilemma they create in your life. By becoming aware of these characters, you slowly break free from the safe and secure, yet monotonous comfort zone they built for you and around you. The personal freedom you gain from this expanded self-awareness is what eventually opens the door to something deeper. Your profound self-realization. Yes. As we close this week's episode, I invite you to observe how these two opposing personas appear in your life and control your actions and reactions in your daily interactions. Don't worry, we'll dive deeper into each of these characters in the upcoming weeks. You'll be surprised. Yes, you'll be surprised how much of your life depends on them. It's amazing. Well, thank you for listening to Rise to Realize podcast and for your willingness to embark on such a rewarding and life-changing inner journey with me. Until next time, take care.